What's up, guys? NFL Week 5, Bills with a huge fumble to end the half there. Um, Stops Jacksonville from getting up to a 7-point lead heading to halftime in London today. But let's break down some Week 5 today. Obviously, some good games. Steelers, Ravens. Patriots looking for a bounce back at home. Eagles, Rams, which could be an upset, I think. We'll break that down right now, heading to Week 5. Shane, what's going on?
After Monday, I haven't had much to look forward to. After what I saw a certain team perform like in that certain situation against a certain defense.
Hate to see it. Well, speak of the devil, we're going to hop right into that game. Giants-Dolphins coming today as a 12-point dog against this Dolphins team. Shane, what do you expect today?
So this game's going to go one of two ways. Either the Dolphins are going to win by like 20 plus, or somehow the Giants are going to win on a field goal. I'm going to lean with the Dolphins winning by like 20. They just match up so well against the Giants. Giants mainly run man coverage, and the Dolphins destroy it because they have the fastest team like in human history. There's nothing good for the Giants. No Saquon, no Andrew Thomas. I don't know how they even try to compete today.
It's literally going to be either a close Giants win, which would be a surprise for everybody,
or massive blowout.
Or a blowout.
What I thought, yeah.
So, I don't know. You can't really have any high hopes as of right now after what we just watched. Dolphins are arguably the best offense we've seen in a long time. Putting up 70 against Denver, but then getting walked back last week versus the Bills. You could say it's redemption mode for both teams, which is a bad sign for the Giants because obviously the Dolphins looking for a win here too. At home, laying a huge number here at 12.5. This line opened up at, I believe, 9. I'm trying to share my screen here, but it's not working. Opened at 9.5. Went all the way up to, I believe it touched 13. Now it's back down to 12.5. There's just no money at all on this Giants squad. 77% of the money is 77% of the bets are on Miami today. Public likes the over 2 at 49.5. It's down to 47.5. I like the under here. Big spreads equals unders, especially with this Giants team. Who obviously does not have an O-line. Is Thomas still out today too?
Yep.
So that's going to be a problem as well. No Saquon again. It's not confirmed yet, but I don't think he's playing either.
He's not playing. It's confirmed.
Okay, so that's good too. So yeah, I don't see how
Matt Breida revenge game.
Oh God, this is a Niners game, right?
Hey, he scored that game.
Yeah, I like the under in two ways. One, the only way the Giants win this game if they keep it close. Two, the other option is a blowout. And in blowouts, usually the under takes control there with one team not scoring, one team taking over the scoring for the game. So I like the under here is probably the safest bet. I do lean Dolphins just because the offense is winning in the NFL right now. I tweeted this out before, and perfect example here with Public Guy and Roy Barber taking the Giants with the points because that's just what you do as a public bettor. Good offense is kicking bad offense's ass so far this year. We saw it last week with Cowboys and the Patriots. We saw it last week with the Vikings and the Panthers, both covering. Niners covering. All these big favorites are covering because there's no offense on the other side of the ball who can keep up with the points. So I lean the Dolphins here with the points. Laying the points. I lean the under as well. All right, moving on. We have the Panthers taking on the Lions here. Some late Late line injury news. No Jahmyr Gibbs today. No Amon-Ra St. Brown till probably week 10 or week 11. Good for the fantasy squad. Shane, any chance the Panthers keep this game somewhat within a touchdown?
I have way more of a reason to think that now because the Lions are without like their two most explosive guys right now. I mean, they still have like Laporte or whatever. They get Jameson Williams back, but he's on a snap count. He's only playing like 20 snaps today. So it's Josh Reynolds and company got to hang all these points on the Panthers to cover a near double-digit spread. This game screams under right now. I don't know if a whole lot of points get scored. This is just a weird game to look at now. If everybody else was healthy, it was clear Lions. But Gibbs and Amon-Ra being out, like Goff's number one option's gone. I'm kind of skeptical.
Taking a look here at the money splits presented by Wager Talk, it's just, this is a good chart to use if you're new to sports betting and want to look at where the money's at, where it's not, where the public's at. So if you see here with tickets, right, taking a look at Carolina, it's all Detroit money or Detroit tickets right now. So that means the public's on Detroit, which it should be, better team. At 73% of the tickets, but only 58% of the money. So that's a 15% sharp differential for Carolina here. The problem for Carolina for me is it's just bad offense. I can't take teams who can't score the ball right now in the NFL. They look better without Bryce Young than with Bryce Young. It's not a shot at Bryce Young, it's just what it is. Unfortunately, I thought he'd come into the league, playing pretty decent, but it looks like he's just too small for the task right now. So I took the Lions at 8.5 on Monday. I'm gonna ride with my pick here, 8.5. Even with the injuries here, just still a better offense. We've seen the Lions lock up on defense to similar offenses. They locked up Atlanta. Was it last week at home? Or 2 weeks ago, they locked them up. I think they gave up 10 points in that game. I don't see Carolina putting up much better offensive numbers than that. So if we can see a 21-10 game, a 24-10 game, 24-13 game, I still hit my number here, and so does the public. So I'm riding with the public here. I'm taking the better offense than the Panthers. I mean, the Lions. But yes, I do lean under as well. With injury news and the bigger spread, I lean the under. All right. Ravens taking on the Steelers today in Pittsburgh. Shane, I know you like the aspect of, Mike Tomlin as a dog, which I get. Ravens coming in with Lamar, who's looking to go 4-1. Kenny Pickett banged up. He says he's good, but a bone bruise after a week of the NFL, I don't think you're good, to be honest. So question marks there, question marks in the offense. What do you see happening today in Pittsburgh?
This is another under game. It's usually how these AFC North games work. It's going to be a gritty game. All the past games between the Ravens and the Steelers, the most a team's won by is 5. So this is just going to be a down-to-the-wire game. I think Lamar doesn't particularly perform well against the Steelers. 1-2 straight up, 0-3 ATS. Ravens in general, 20-3 ATS against the Steelers the last 20 years. All the numbers, trend-wise, is saying to take the Steelers. And I think getting 4.5 with them at home, even in this, the Ravens offense hasn't looked like what we thought it was going to be in the offseason because they got Todd Monken and we thought that this whole passing offense was going to be changed. It's kind of not looking that way. They still need receiver help somehow, even though they've made all these moves. I'm taking the Steelers in this game. I take the Steelers every week, but this is just how it is.
Again, kind of against you here, unfortunately. I took the Ravens at 3.5 on Monday. Obviously, it shot up to 4.5 with the Pickett being injured. It's capped at 3.5 because of Pickett being injured. Went up to 4.5 with some sharp play at 3.5. Sharp money looks to be on the Ravens here. I'm sorry, on Pittsburgh here. 84% of the money, 59% of the bets on Pittsburgh. When I see a lot of money in a home dog, it kind of scares me a little bit. Even though I'm on the opposite side of that, which is, in my opinion, good. Public on the under here, 94% of the money, 70% of the bets on the under. The thing is that's good here for the under bettors. When the public is on an under, it has trended in the under way. So it's that under looks pretty decent. As he opened up at -2, I got it at 3.5. You see some fives here, 4.5, 4.5, 4.5. Total sitting below 40 in a divisional matchup, which makes complete sense. I do see a low-scoring game, but I can't ride with that offense, man. It's going to take a lot for the Steelers to slow Lamar down. Like Scojo says here in the red zone, I think it's going to be hard for Pickett to get too many points here today. So I'm not calling for a blowout. I think it's going to be a tight, AFC North typical divisional game, but I can't take this Steelers team right now. This is probably the worst Tomlin team we've seen. Not on defense, but on offense. Najee Harris, I think, is running for less than 3 yards a carry right now.
Dude, he's just Eddie Lacy. We'll just cut the crap. He's Eddie Lacy.
I guess it's not good though. There's no real playmakers on offense right now, exactly. So it's hard for me to take this team.
I think Najee loses his job this year.
Jaylen Warren's right there, man. He's waiting. So
yeah, I think Jaylen Warren's the guy.
It's just hard for me to take a bad offense right now. I can't watch it. If I have a bet on it, I can't watch bad offense. And two, it's just this year, it's just better offense is beating bad offense. And I'm going to take the team who's looking better on offense this year and not that worse of a defense. Ravens rated number 1 in defensive efficiency so far this year. FPI ranks them number 1. Steelers, I think, are top 10 still, which is common. But I'm going to take the better defense and obviously the better offense here too. So I'm laying the 3.5. I stuck it at 4.5. I feel like Ravens by a touchdown here today. So that's where I'm at with that. Next one, Texans at the Falcons. This is kind of a weird one. I don't know why. I get Falcons are at home. Traveling back from London after that shit show performance they put on last Sunday morning. Texans are hot, man. Coming off 2 back-to-back wins. One being on the road, one being at home last week in Pittsburgh. Any chance to get 3 in a row today?
Is there a chance? Yes. Am I going to side with them? No. Just based off how this Falcons team plays, they play a lot better at home than on the road. Desmond Ridder hasn't lost a home game in the NFL or in college. I think this matchup just screams Falcons. The Texans have probably top or bottom 5 run defense in the league, and now they're facing against the most run-heavy team. I think this is the Falcons are just going to look to pound the rock. I think this is another under game. I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. I'm siding with the home team in this one. I think people are going to start hopping on the Texans hype train, and I think they're going to let everybody down this week.
Yeah, my number had this as Falcons -2.5. So I get the hype here with Atlanta. I 3 in a row is tough for me to predict a rookie quarterback winning, 2 out of 3 on the road. I'm going to take the Falcons here, -2. I like it up to -3. I think it's going to be kind of a sloppy game on both sides. Like I said, CJ coming to his second, 2 games out of his last 3 on the road here. Not a tough road matchup in Atlanta. Not a tough place to play, really, especially with a bad Falcons team here today. But to expect a rookie quarterback to win his 3rd straight game, his second out of those 3 on the road, is tough for me to predict. So I'm going to ride with the Falcons here. I don't love it at all. I kind of hope Texans win. I have no money involved in this game. I like the Texans team-wise. I like their coach. I like the quarterback, who's looked great so far. So my mind says Falcons. My heart says to take the other side here. So Yeah, kind of not really interesting game in that one. Next one we have is the Titans taking on the Colts today. Colts come in as 2.5-point dogs. Titans come in as 2.5-point favorites on the road in Indy. Mike Vrabel coaching his ass off so far this year. I think we've expected this team to fall off a little bit. Offenses looked somewhat decent besides the offensive line. Tannehill's been in there tough, not getting hurt just yet. I think it's coming though. This offensive line is just brutal so far this year. Shane, anyway, we thought Houston not getting this one today, but any way this rookie quarterback going to win?
I'm on the side of the Titans. I'm sorry. That the Colts do get Jonathan Taylor back, which is going to be interesting, but they're facing the best run defense in football. And this is a run-first team, run RPOs. Anthony Richardson's not taking too many deep shots. A lot of underneath and let the guys work after the catch. And the way you beat the Titans is you air it out on them deep. I'm going to side with Vrabel on this one. They've been bad on the road this year, but I doubt they laid 3 stinkers on the road.
Yeah. The line opened at -1 on Monday. It's totally flipped across the 0 point, heading to 3 here. Public on the Colts as a home dog, which is scary for anybody to take if you're looking at numbers here. Almost 60% of tickets, 50% of the money on the Colts here. Tennessee getting a little bit of sharp value here at -2.5. I'm going to lay a 2.5 here. I was on the Colts, back and forth past week or so, but I think Vrabel, gets this job done today against a rookie quarterback. I think he schemed well against his offense for the Indianapolis on defense. I'm only at 2.5 points with the team who's just looked better overall so far this year. Not a game I have any money invested in, but I'm taking the better coached. As of right now, better quarterback in Tannehill, but that could change as the weeks go on. But yeah, I'm leaning Titans here. All right. Moving right along. Another gross game today. Saints at Pats. This line, again, been moving back and forth. Kind of crazy line movement since Monday. Patriots opened. To pull this in right here. Patriots opened at 1.5-point favorites. I saw this jump all the way to 1 for New Orleans. I don't think I saw 1.5. Jumped back over the 0 line. Now they're at 1.5 again for the Patriots. I don't think I can do it. I really can't. I can't lay these points right now with this team. My Patriots, just offensively not good. Your 2 best defensive players are out now for probably a year, and Judon and Christian Gonzalez. Yes, we have
J.C. Jackson.
J.C. Jackson back. I don't know if he's playing today. I think he practiced.
Did you see the story that came about him?
No.
That a Chargers DB got hurt and he was supposed to check in and he refused to. He didn't tie up his cleats or anything. He just said, "I'm not playing."
Interesting. Okay. That's an interesting story right there. Nice team player. Looking at numbers here, Public, it's kind of siding with the Pats here a little bit, which puts me either farther away from the Patriots, take this one. Public also liking the under here. You see the discrepancy in tickets and money percentage. Under getting 66% of the tickets, but the over is getting 64% of the money. Looks like sharps are on the over here at 64%. I don't see how that happens. I know it's a low total at 39, which is just dropped from the open total of 40.5. I don't see how points are scored here besides the Saints on offense. Patriots, I'm not expecting them to score too many points here today. So I'm going to go with the under here, and I'm taking the dog in the Saints. So
these teams are pretty similar, so it's just whatever team I can get points with, I'll just take that side.
Yeah, it's just a bad matchup. Obviously, if Patriots were fully healthy with Christian and those DBs and Judon. I think it's a better matchup for the Patriots. This line is just so weird, in my opinion. They're giving the Patriots as a favorite. After watching the last 2 weeks, I can't do it. Maybe a little bias here for me after watching those games and being a Pats fan that it's just too gross for me to take it, but I lean the dog here at New England. All right. Eagles on the road taking on the LA Rams. Cooper Kupp back in action today. Another game where I think the dog's in play here today. Jalen Hurts, not so good on the road. This offense has looked somewhat bleak going into this game with a new coordinator. I'm calling the upset, Shane. I'm calling the upset. Rams are taking this one, giving the Eagles their first loss of the year. I got this line at 5.5 on Monday. It's dropped to 4. Obviously, Kupp being back in affects that as well. Looking at numbers here, if we can. Philly not getting too much public love. It's kind of 50-50 as of right now. More money on the Rams as not the public dog, but a favorite dog so far this year. Lined up in that 6. It's dropped to 4. Total has been up from 46.5 to 50.5 on most books. I think it's time to realize that this Eagles team is squeaking by on most games this year. And at some point, it's going to bite them in the ass. We saw it last week with the Commanders in overtime. And I think if that team had a better offense, then that game would have gone the other way. And today, I think we get
better
that.
offense.
Yeah. If the
Dude, it was like 37-34. What do you mean better offense?
But didn't Commanders have the ball the first possession?
Yeah, so that doesn't mean they were a bad offense because they didn't convert on the first drive in overtime.
What I'm saying is, if they played a better offense, they would have lost in overtime. That's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, it's hard to say because we don't know what would have happened if any other teams there.
What I'm saying is, if they for example, right, they gave up 37 or 30 some odd points to the Commanders last week, right?
Yeah, their secondary is bad. It's not a debate.
Let's just see them play against a better quarterback in Stafford with Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp now. I think it could be a bad game for the Eagles today. I have them at 5.5. I might lay the money line here too at plus money. Shane, what do you like here?
I mean, I like the Rams to cover, but I still think the Eagles win. I think this defensive line for the Eagles is going to give Matthew Stafford problems all day. We saw how pressure got to him in that Bengals game. I think it's just going to be worse today. Do I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game? Yes. I think that's just how Eagles games are going to work for the most part. Their offense has been working just fine scoring. But I think they're going to allow a lot more points than they did last year. But it's hard to not pick the Eagles right now. It was hard to not pick the Bills, but I think there was like today in this game, but I think them Jaguars just staying there gave them a big advantage. I don't really see a huge advantage for the Rams here in this matchup.
Okay. All right. Next one. Need a win here for the Bengals, or their season's probably over. Bengals looking for just their second win of the year, taking on this Cardinals team who's kind of been a surprise so far this year. This is the one where I want to look at the line for a minute. Looking at this line, can pop up. Thank you. This line coming in opened at 8. -8 for Cincy on Monday or Sunday night. It's dropped down all the way to -3 now. Sharps getting it early at +8. It's dead on 50-50. Slightly more towards the Bengals here, of course. Just the overall public better team. Public likes the over as well at 57% of the tickets, 51% of the money on the over. It's Bengals for nothing. This is a must-win game for the Bengals. Better quarterback. What we think is the better quarterback for the Bengals. Joe Burrow's been struggling so far this year, but I think at some point he's got to just kick it in the gear and say, "This is my team. We need to win here today to save our season." I think it's done today.
Yeah, this is make or break for the Bengals. If the Bengals don't win this game, then I think something's wrong or something needs to get changed.
It's their
I don't think
defense, dude. The defense is bad.
No, they're all they can't score on offense.
I know, but their secondary is giving up so many yards through passing game. It's bad. Like, I think Jesse Bates, the loss of Jesse Bates is huge right now.
Well, yeah, but like the fact that they can't put up points is not helping them at all. Like they scored 3 points against the Titans secondary. 3. They need to wake up. We need Jamar Chase was pissed after the game last week. He said, "I'm always damn open." Joe Burrow needs to wake up. I know that his leg is still bothering him or whatever, but he needs to step up. If you just got paid big money, you got to perform like you're worth big money.
Yeah, it's win now mode. You got to get a win today. Period. Don't care how you do it. It just has to come today in Arizona, preferably by 3 or more. I don't have any money in this game. I think the value was lost in the Cardinals when it was at 8. Now it's at 3. It's just tough for me to back this Bengals team. I did it once this year against the Ravens. I can't do it again until I see Joe being Joe. And even in that Ravens game, or even in the win they got, who they beat so far this year?
The Rams.
Even that Rams win, he did not look great. And I had the money in the Bengals that game. And I ended up pushing the -3 because of the late touchdown, meaningless touchdown by the Rams. So, excuse me. But it's tough for me to back this team right now with how they're playing. So I'm going to stay off this game. I lean the Bengals just because of the need factor to win here to save their season. With just so much hype and so many expectations for this team. Oh boy. Wow. I don't know if you're watching a huge play. Sorry. Next one. Vikings at the Chiefs here today. High total, obviously. 2 high-power offenses. Vikings come in looking for their second win of the year off the win last week against the Panthers. The line has gone down in the Vikings' favor. I believe it opened at 5.5. Let me check right here. Opened at 6, actually, down to 3.5. You can get them even at 3.5 in the Superbook. DraftKings has it at 3.5 at -108. Total for this one has dropped surprisingly from 54.5 down to, I believe it says 52. Is that right, Shane?
Something like that. 52.5.
50. So open at 51.5 up to 52.5, which makes sense. Public is all over the over here. 85% of the bets, 85% of the money. Public also in the Chiefs, surprise, at -3.5. 70% of the bets, only 54% of the money. So sharp differential on the Vikings here at home, getting 3.5 points. Key numbers in football: 0, 3, 7, 10, 14, 17, 21. We see one here at 3.5. I kind of like the Vikings here. We talk about desperation. This is desperation mode again for the Vikings team at home, good home crowd environment. 2 good offenses. I think Vikings can stay in this game on the offensive side of the ball. It's just defensively for the Vikings, which has struggled, especially on 3rd down. We saw 3rd and long be a problem for them against the Chargers. So it's hard for me to take them to win this game, but I think the points here is a good option. You start off the game with 3.5 points. Hopefully you can lose by a field goal or so, which is kind of scary against this Chiefs team. But I kind of like the home squad getting points here.
Yeah, the Chiefs just don't cover, so it's hard to pick them in any spot, even though the public loves them because they're the Chiefs. Can the Vikings need to watch some film or something about how to hold the ball? Because they're still having turnover issues. Maybe they didn't fumble as much last week, but Kirk is throwing red zone picks again. Back at it again. He threw a pick 6 the first drive of the game last week. He's slinging the ball, but he needs to not give the ball to the other team as much either.
No shit, yeah.
But but it's hard to take the Chiefs like points because they just don't cover. It's just the story of them. They'll win this game, but they won't cover.
Yeah, I see that too. Maybe a garbage time touchdown here by the Vikings to cover the 3.5, or a late field goal win by the Chiefs here. I see it. Like I said, home crowd is a huge here for the Vikings. The skulls are huge. Gives this team some, an edge here at home. The line opened at 5 for a reason, right? It's not a huge line, which is why it dropped to 3.5. I think they want you to take it to 3.5 just because it's the Chiefs. Public's biting at the 3.5 right now. I like Minnesota here, plus 3.5 at home against the Chiefs. All right, Jets and the Broncos. What a game we have today. Jets come into this game with a good, a well-played game. I think it was Sunday Night Football last week against the Chiefs. Had a chance to win. They still covered thanks to Pat Mahomes and the nice slide at the 1-yard line last week. Broncos come in off a comeback victory versus the Bears, which is a game I had +3 ticket in for the Bears, which was kind of a killer towards the end. Jets come in, opened up as 3-point dogs. It's down to 2.5 on some books. Public is on the Jets. And this one, 73% of the bets, only 57% of the money on the Jets here today. Total opened at 40. Surprisingly, it has gone up to 43.5 on some books. I don't know how this game goes over with this Jets offense. And, maybe if the Jets score points here with this awful Broncos defense, that's the only way I see the over here. But, Shane, what do you see in this kind of gross Week 5 matchup?
I'm on the Jets this week. I can't this Broncos defense. I don't know if there's a way to pick them at this point. I had them last week, but that was against the Bears at that point. The Bears were looking like a high school team. The Jets at least have a good defense, so they can hold the Broncos offense. So I don't even think the Jets have to do that much this game to win. And they had the guys on offense to where they can do some things and move the ball. They got Breece Hall, who's not on the pitch count anymore. Garrett Wilson's still there. Zach Wilson looked good last week, outperformed Pat Mahomes. Fucking wow. The fucking
shit, dude. He just threw half the field. Josh Allen with a 50-yard completion. Holy shit, dude. What a gun. Wow.
I think Diggs is okay staying there. I don't think he's looking to go anywhere from Josh Allen.
How is he that wide open, man? Damn.
Diggs is like a top 3 route runner. That's what he does. But anyways, both team, the Nathaniel Hackett revenge game right here. Him and after what Sean Payton was saying about him, he's like it's gonna take a couple years to fix. But
he's not wrong.
I'm just gonna siding with the Jets on this one.
Yeah, I like the value here at the Jets. This Broncos, Russell Wilson's not a scary factor anymore, unfortunately. I think this Jets defense can cause a couple turnovers. Creating offense through defense here, putting Zach Wilson in a good spot and field position. We saw Zach Wilson make some pretty good throws last week, Shane. I don't know if you were watching Sunday Night Football, but him on the run, coming out of the pocket, especially on the right side, he looked pretty good slinging the ball. So I look for some of the same here today for Zach. It's kind of a spot where, if he plays good today, do the chirpers start going away a little bit? The haters or what?
Last week he played well enough to earn another shot, obviously, but he hasn't. I don't think earned the ability to say, oh yeah, he's a decent quarterback. Oh yeah, he can be a guy for a franchise. Because we've seen more times than not that he turns into an egg. So this is a game.
Yeah. Go ahead. I think we're gonna say the same thing. Go ahead.
This is the perfect game for him to step up because this is the worst defense in the past 10 years or whatever. This isn't, and they just got rid of Randy Gregory. They said see ya. So I don't know who's going to be rushing the passer for him now. I think all the values are the Jets here.
Yeah, I have the plus money here. I don't know how you lay points with this Broncos team. If it was flipped the other way, I don't know how you lay points with this Jets team. But I'm going to take the better defense, and I like what we saw out of Zach Wilson last week. So I'll take the points here in this matchup. All right, moving right along here. A couple more games to go. Sunday Night Football matchup. We have the Cowboys taking on the 49ers in San Francisco. This line's held pretty steady at 3.5. Went up to 4 for like a second yesterday. Taking a look here at the money splits. If I get rid of this freaking banner, dummy. This game opened at 3, went up to 3.5, went up to 4 for a quick second, like I said, but it stayed steady at 3.5 on most books. Total staying pretty steady as well. Opened at 45.5, dropped to 45. Public, the public and the sharps are probably going to be both on San Fran here. You see 82% of the money, 72% of the tickets on San Fran. Books are definitely going to need Dallas here in this one. Public's also hammering the over here. You know, when I see a lot of money in the over and a Sunday football game, I lean the under. Just how it is. 94% of the money on the over here, which is kind of disgusting. 82% of the bets. I think both teams are going to look to play pretty strong on defense rather than offense because both teams can hang in, offensively. It's just who wins the defensive battle up front, especially in the front seven. So I'm going to pick the under here as my favorite play in this one. I don't look to take a side. I lean San Fran just because it's a better team here. But this is a great revenge spot for Dallas. Coming off a huge win against New England in a blowout, confidence is through the roof. The only problem here for Dallas is their red zone offense. Not good. And I think Shane can agree with me on that. It's just not looked good here to start the year. It's why I'm taking the under here. I think we see some field goals in this game. Under 45, under 45.5 is my play on that one.
I think the Cowboys rank like 30th in red zone offense, like
touchdown
percentage. I think it's like at 40% or something. The trends like are favorable for both sides. Like the only one that's negative is that Dak has lost his last 5 starts at night as a dog, and he's 3-7 as an underdog at night in his career. I was just taking whatever team's home in this one. So it's
I can't really go against that. I just like the somewhat good revenge spot here for the Cowboys. But Niners have looked just great on both sides of the ball to start the year. And they've been great as home favorites. I think they've covered 14 of the last 15 coming into today.
They've covered 9 consecutive home games.
Okay, even better. So 9 straight home games. They showed they can beat Dallas, last year. Kind of the same situation in San Fran, getting 3.5 points. I just like the defensive battle here better than the side. So I'll take the under 45.5. Shane's right in the home team here. Can't really disagree on that either. So let's move on to Monday Night Football. Packers take on the Raiders in Vegas. Jimmy G back, Jordan Love on the other side. Do we see a bounce back performance from Jordan Love, or do we see him kind of trend downwards the rest of the year?
Well, the story for the Packers has just been we're losing and we need to try to make a comeback. That's been them the entire year, except for the Bears game. The Bears game, week 1, they were just firing all cylinders. But since then, they've been losing and we got to make a comeback. And losing David Bakhtiari for the year is huge. Your star offensive tackle to protect your quarterback is not playing. They get Christian Watson back, which should help the offense. I was on the Packers this entire time up until the show started, and now I want to go Raiders.
Okay.
It's kind of like a pick'em. I think the Packers are like 2 now. I think last time I checked.
No, Raiders are some 2, some 1.5.
Yeah, but the trends work for both quarterbacks. Devontae Adams, I think, is just going to have a field day tomorrow. It's his revenge game against the Packers. Jordan Love didn't look great the last primetime game he had against the Lions. I'm gonna take the upset, or I'm gonna take the Raiders here. I'm switching my pick live to the Raiders.
Okay. I don't hate it at all. I think we see, we have the better quarterback here in Jimmy G for right now. This game's just gross. I'm literally like talking myself out of the Raiders as we speak, and then Jimmy G comes in. It's just
this screams the under. This game screams under.
Yeah, for sure. I think the Packers O-line still banged up, which is tough for them. We saw Jordan Love not really get rid of the ball too quickly last week against the Lions, which could be prominent again this week with Crosby coming at him on one side. I think it's a bad spot for Jordan Love. I think Jimmy G's been here, done that. He knows what it takes to win these type of games. I'm gonna ride the Raiders here. I don't love it at all. I might change my pick going towards like on Monday to a different spot, but for right now, I like the Raiders here. So, all right, that wraps up Week 5. Shane, anything before we go on fantasy?
Double check to make sure you don't have Saquon or Amon Ryan because they are not playing at you.
I have them both on my team, which is just great.
You're so screwed this week. Look at his bad.
So no Saquon, no Amon-Ra, and I have a huge stack of Geno Smith, Lockett, Metcalf, and so that works good for this week too. And they're all on the bye, so yeah. Looks great for my fantasy. Probably going 1-4. But hey, same thing happened last year, and guess you won last year.
Yeah, well, you're not going to be in the playoff this year because I changed
the rules. But anyways, all right, guys, be safe, have fun, have a great Sunday. We'll be back for Week 6 next week at 11 a.m.